Hey guys, how are you? What's going on? I've been gone for a while. Walking Week Wednesdays were put on hold for a few weeks. I actually missed the last 4 weeks. I'm kind of sorry, but not sorry. It's just been a really difficult time. Not difficult, but just busy time with the move and preparing for the move and actually going forward with the transition. I've officially been living in Southern California, right outside of LA, for almost 30 days, and it's just been non-stop. Life has been good, but super busy. I just wanted to give an update on what's going on. I do intend to get back to the Walking Week Wednesdays. I'm hoping to start that this week. I'm finally becoming mentally adjusted to being out here, so I actually have the space now mentally to do a video, so hence why I'm here right now. So good stuff, but I feel that this is the most opportune time for me to do a video because I truly am in a place where this is like the epitome of Walking Week and what Walking Week is about. So like I said, I've been living out here for 30 days. This whole move has been entirely orchestrated by God. I knew that California is a place that God was leading me to, and I knew that coming out here would be a time where I had to fully rely on God and what He was doing, coming out here away from my friends and my family, just knowing my coworkers, and I have one friend from back home that's out here, and just really having to rely on God totally out here. And that's something that I was really that I really am excited about being out here, because my heart's desire is to truly see the fullness of who God is. And being out here for 4 weeks, my job as part of the relocation package gave me 30 days of corporate housing, which was 30 days for me to look for a place to live. Work has been extremely busy, so the first few weeks, looking for an apartment kind of got on the back burner. I was only able to do it during the weekends. I worked a lot of hours during the week, and then the last couple of weeks I've been looking even harder, but I haven't found anything yet. And I am 3 days away from my corporate housing before it expires. So I've been talking to people about it, and of course they're pretty frantic, saying, well, what are you going to do? You got to find something. And that's true, I do have to find something, and I have been looking at places, but it has not been the things that I've been believing God for. And I have thought about and considered settling for some of these places because of the time constraint that I have. And it really just didn't sit well with me, because I'm only been out here for 30 days. I made the decision to come out here, Walking Week, truly relying on God and allowing Him to provide, and taking my hand out of the pot and truly allowing God to be the controller of this. And I can't, within the first 30 days, settle because I'm nervous about the time constraint. So it has been very challenging this last week. It's definitely been Walking Week, believing and knowing that God has something for me. I know that God is my provider. He has never left me. And I know that He didn't bring me out here just to say, I don't have a place for you. So I know that God is going to show up, but it definitely has been a little nerve-wracking waiting on God. And I'm looking at apartments. I'm just like, not it. So it gets a little I guess disheartening after a while, and it's definitely a test of faith. But one thing that this is teaching me, and I always say this, and if I say this once every video, I'm not saying it enough, because I truly, sorry, a helicopter's going by if you hear it, I'm sitting outside, but I truly believe that God's intention for our lives is to not make us comfortable, is to make us whole. And in this time where I'm waiting on God to show up, it's teaching me about hope and where my hope lies. There's been so many apartments that I've looked at, and as soon as I see a potential apartment, my hope would rise, like, yes, maybe this is it. And then when I go to see it and it's not it, it's like, oh gosh, I'm defeated again. And I had to be reminded that God is my anchor. My hope in God is what anchors me. And what I really love about this is that before I came out here, one of my good friends, shout out to Lisa, she gave me an anchor necklace. I love her. She knows that I like anchors. I have one tattooed on my ankle, and it just really represents how I have to anchor myself in God. Just like in Hebrews 6, 18 through 19, where it talks about our hope in God is the anchor for our soul, where we stand firm and secure. So it has to be, my hope has to be anchored in who God is, not in the circumstance, not in the time or anything. My hope has to be in God's ability and God's willingness and the very nature of God. So even in these times that I'm feeling defeated, it's been so hard to pick myself up and say, AJ, it's not about the circumstance. It's not about the time. God is the author of time. Your hope is in God. So it's truly asking ourselves in difficult times and times where we feel defeated, where does our hope lie? Where are we being anchored? Because if we're anchoring ourselves in circumstances, then we're constantly going to be on the up and down, because those are always changing. But we have a God who's never changing. So if we put our anchor in God, we stand firm and secure. So that's something that I've been truly focused on. And like I said, God didn't bring me out here to make me comfortable, but I believe he brought me out here to draw me closer to him and draw me closer to wholeness. And in that, I want God to show himself, and in that I have to be anchored in him and believe that he will show up. So in these next couple of days, I don't know what God is going to do. And also, I don't want to put God and what he looks like and what he's going to do in a box to only what my mind can understand, because God's thoughts are higher than ours. His ways are higher than ours. So let's say I don't transition directly into an apartment right after these next 3 days. I mean, I'm not going to be on the streets. Thankfully, God always financially provides. So I have the money for an apartment. I just don't have a place to put that money to right now. So I'm not going to be without, but maybe I won't transition directly into an apartment right after these next 3 days. Does that mean that that's not God? Like, I don't want to put my perception of God into what I think he looks like, because God can work in any situation. He's not looking to make me comfortable. He's looking to make me whole. I think about Joseph, and even when Joseph was in these uncomfortable places where he was being sold off to slaves, or when he was in jail because of the lie from Potiphar's wife, like, God was with him in that time. God still used that time to develop Joseph. So comfortable in great places doesn't always represent God. So that's something that I am encouraged by, just to know that God is doing something in me right now. He's not just providing a place to live, but he's doing a work in me. So it's just being reminded where my hope comes from, that my hope is anchored in God. I'm firm and I'm secure if I put my hope in the never-changing God. The same God who was yesterday is the same God that is today, and that is for me. I love that here in California, I get to go outside and see the mountains. And the same God who created these large mountains is the same God that lives in me and that works in my life. How can I want to settle when I know that kind of God lives in me and wants a relationship with me and wants to provide for me? So that has been something that's very encouraging. And also, I keep scriptures on Post-it notes stuck to my laptop at work, and I brought my laptop home from work today, and one of the scriptures fell off. I kind of, once you see something so many times, you don't really pay attention to it. It becomes part of life. So I see the scripture, and it fell on the floor, and it's just a gentle reminder of what this is. And it's James 1, you can't see this, I don't know why I did that, but whatever. James 1, 2 through 4. Consider it pure joy, my brothers, when you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. So God is calling me, us, all of us, to anchor ourselves in him, to have faith in him, not in the circumstance. God doesn't care about all of that. He's doing a work. He knows what we need. He's going to provide. He's worried about doing something in us. So let the testing of our faith produce perseverance, because he's trying to make us mature and complete. So I guess it's just a reminder again and again, AJ, what are you putting your hope in? I have an apartment to go see in about another 30 minutes. And I'm like, it is what it is. If I find something there, great. But thank you, God, that I know you're doing something in me. I know you're doing a fresh work. So that's what I'm really excited about. And in the time, it does get discouraging, because we are natural, right? So sometimes the situation can become a little discouraging, but it's just constantly reminding ourselves of the unchanging God, and reminding ourselves of the things that God has already done. and that the things that he's already done, the things that he's never allowed us to go through. Like, I've never been without, and today's not the day that I'm going to start. And I know that's not what God desires for me. So it is a little scary to see how God is going to show up, and because I know he's trying to do a work in me. So the process is definitely a little scary, but I have peace in knowing that it's for my own good, and that God doesn't do anything that does not benefit his kingdom, and it does not benefit me. So in that, I find peace and gratitude. So I'm thankful for this experience. It may look a little shaky, but I think that's where God works. That's where God is able to be seen the most. So I appreciate that. So I hope that encourages you. Please, if you're going through anything where you're just expecting God to show up, don't look at the circumstance, but look at who God is. Anchor yourself in the hope of who God is. There you can stand firm and secure and not waver because of your circumstance, but because you have the unchanging God who loves you beyond any measure of love that we can never fathom, and who wants to do more in you than where you are right now. And he's definitely doing that work in you and in us. So let's continue to push forward and hope in God and wait on him and just appreciate the work that he's doing in us. I'm so excited that I will get to the place where I can be mature and complete, not lacking anything. Physically not lacking anything, but spiritually, internally not lacking anything. So that's encouraging to me. So welcome to California. Let's do this walking week. We're here, and let's do it. All right, bye.